This is known as the Mpemba effect. Did you know there are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way? Here's a curious fact. There's enough DNA in the human body to stretch from the sun to Pluto and back 17 times. Did you know peanuts aren't actually nuts? They're legumes. The average person has about 100,000 hairs on their head. That's a lot of hairs if you ask me. The longest time anyone hiccuped for was 68 years. I don't know about you, but I don't think I could have the hiccups for that long. A day on Mercury lasts 1,408 hours. The average person walks the equivalent of 5 times around the world in a lifetime, and share about 60% of their DNA with bananas. You might have heard the saying, be a jiffy, or I'll be back in a jiffy. Well, it actually is a unit of time. A jiffy is about 1/100th of a second. Believe it or not, more people are bitten by New Yorkers each year than sharks. I think we'll avoid New York, maybe. Here's something interesting you might not have known, and I think you'll be trying it after I tell you. You cannot hum whilst holding your nose. Did you try it? I thought so. The Empire State Building has its own postcode, or in America, zip code. That's very interesting, I thought. A single cloud can weigh more than 1 million pounds. That's very heavy. There are more possible iterations of a game of chess than there are atoms in the universe. Wow. So you might be wondering, how much does everyone make that invents items? Well, not a lot according to this fact. The inventor of the microwave only received $2 for his discovery. If you ask me, that's a bit unfair. The University of Oxford is older than Aztec Empire. So, you know the famous Minnie and Mickey Mouse created by Walt Disney? Well, it's a bit strange actually. He created them, but he was afraid of mice. It rains diamonds on Jupiter and Saturn. I think I'll move there potentially. Did you know that the moon is slowly drifting away from the Earth? And speaking about space and moons, an astronaut's height can increase by up to 2 inches whilst in space. Maybe I ought to be up there, at least get up to 5'6". this fact is quite surprising to me. There are more public libraries than McDonald's in the United States. Before ketchup became the sauce we all know and love today, it was once sold as medicine. Your heart beats over 100,000 times per day. That's a lot of beating for one heart. You will have had M&M's before, the lovely little chocolate sweets, but did you know what M&M's stood for? No, me neither. It stands for Mars and Muri. I feel like this fact will surprise you. Your taste buds only have a lifespan of 10 days on average, so they must renew a lot in your lifetime. The average person who drives a car will spend 6 months of their life waiting for red lights to turn green. That's quite a lot when you put it into perspective. In the summer, the Eiffel Tower grows more than 6 inches. This is due to heat expansion in the metal. Avocados are poisonous to birds. Speaking of birds, a group of crows are called a murder. So beware if you see a group of crows and run, run, run. If you're ever in the ocean and encounter a blue whale, which is very unlikely, but possible, you will be able to hear its heartbeat from over 2 miles away. So I'd start swimming towards land if you hear that. The dot over the letters I and J is called a tittle. I did not know the dot had a name until today. Did you know the coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth was minus 144 Fahrenheit in Antarctica? That's the equivalent to minus 97 Celsius. I would not like to be in those temperatures. It would be pretty awful. Did you know that Coca-Cola was the first drink consumed in space? Before we had erasers and rubbers, people used bread to remove pencil marks. So if you have any spare old bread lying around, you know what to do with it. A leap year isn't every 4 years. Century years aren't leap years unless divisible by 400. There is a world record for having the most world records, and it is held by the famous Shrita Farman, who has many, many records for the most random things you can think of. If you buy some honey and you think it goes off, it won't. Honey doesn't spoil thousands of years, there has been stuff found from long ago and it has still been edible. Did you know that the brain uses the same amount of power as a 10-watt light bulb? Believe it or not, a crocodile cannot stick its tongue out. Your ears and your nose will never stop growing. So if you already have big ears and a big nose, you might be in for a shocker in 30 years' time. I don't actually think it grows that much bigger though. Venus is the only planet that rotates clockwise. Did you know that the shortest war in history lasted just 38 to 45 minutes between Britain and Zanzibar in 1896? Here's a wonder. There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on all of Earth's beaches. That's a lot of stars. There is a species of fungus that can take over an ant's body and control it. Did you know that the majority of your brain is fat? About 60%. This one is kind of scary. There's a species of spider that builds decoys of itself to distract predators. Now let me tell you something fascinating. Pineapples actually take 2 years to grow. This one really shocked me when I read it. The human nose can detect up to 1 trillion smells. You might not have heard this one before, but you cannot tickle yourself as the brain is already anticipating the sensation of being tickled, so you won't feel it. Did you know that your fingernails grow longer on your dominant hand? So if you're left-handed, your fingernails will grow faster. And if you're right-handed, they'll grow faster on your right hand. You can start a fire with ice, but only if you shape it into a lens. Now I couldn't believe this one at first, but it's true. Bananas are berries, but strawberries are not. That just doesn't make logical sense to me. Did you know that the majority of dust that you see in your house is actually made out of dead skin cells that fall off of you? Which you would be surprised at how many do fall off of your body a day. I didn't know this one till today, but you can smell rain. The scent even has a name. It's called petrichor. English language without a vowel is rhythms. Rhythms. You may think computer viruses are fairly new, but actually, the first one was created long before I was born in 1986 and was named Brain. Going back to diamonds again, there's a plant that is made fully of diamonds, and it's called 55 Cancri E. Strange plant name, but we need to find it. A lot of people from the UK may already know this one, or may not, but the national animal of Scotland is the unicorn. Have you ever been cutting the grass and smelled the amazing smell of freshly cut grass? I know I have, and it's one of my favourite smells. But when I read this, my love for the smell of cut grass took a dark turn. Apparently the smell is actually a plant distress signal. Octopuses have been observed using tools, which is considered a sign of intelligence in animals. Another fact on octopuses: they have 9 hearts. You may have already known this, but one of them is for their brain, and the other 8 are for their tentacles or legs. There's a small island in the Pacific that only has one house on it. Humans actually glow in the dark, but unfortunately, the light is 1,000 times weaker than our eyes can detect. In the UK, we consider the number 13 unlucky, but in Japan, it's the number 4 that is considered unlucky, and that is because 4 in Japanese sounds similar to their word for death. So if you ever happen to be in space, don't try to burp, because you can't burp in space, because there's no gravity to separate the gas from liquid in your stomach. So you're free to drink as many tins of juice as you want. This one really shocked me when I read it. A bolt of lightning is 5 times more hotter than the sun. That is very hot. Did you know that there are more fake flamingos in the world than there are real ones? While we're on the topic of flamingos, a group of flamingos is called a flamboyance. As I mentioned before, a strawberry isn't a berry. which I still can't wrap my head around. But it gets weirder. A watermelon is actually classed as a berry. Who would have thought? So usually when a woman is pregnant with twins, they are born within 48 hours of each other. But the longest time that a set of twins have been born is 87 days apart. Now this next fact I can't quite wrap my head around at all, but a day on the planet Venus is longer than a year there, and I can't quite get the logic behind that, but I'm sure someone can explain it. There's a species of jellyfish that is actually considered biologically immortal. Must be nice. So you probably thought the emails was a relatively recent thing, maybe the last 20, 30 years. But they actually have been going around a lot longer than people may think. The first one was sent in 1971 by a man called Ray Tomlinson, and it was sent to himself. 1971. That's even older than my parents. Did you know that there's a McDonald's in every continent except Antarctica? Those would be some cold burgers if there was one there. Did you know birds are the closest relation we have today to dinosaurs? Did you know that sharks are actually older than trees? And speaking about sharks, they are the only animal in the sea that can blink with both eyes. Did you know that the word nerd was first coined by Dr. Seuss? Now this fact has put me off wearing lipstick altogether. So most lipsticks actually contain fish scales for that shine that you see when you have a lipstick on. And if that's the case, you can count me out. Vaseline all the way. The world's smallest reptile was discovered in Madagascar in 2021. It can sit on the tip of a finger, it is so small. Did you know that the first oranges in the world were actually green, not orange? The total weight of ants on Earth is roughly equal to the weight of all humans. I can't quite wrap my head around how that works, but I'm a bit shocked by that one. Believe it or not, glass is actually a very slow-moving liquid, not a solid. Did you know that the human gets a new lining every 3 to 4 days to prevent it from digesting itself? this because they get lonely on their own. Here's some facts about cows. No. Cows produce more milk when they are listening to relaxing music. Cows also get a best friend in the herd, and they become stressed when they are away from them. Tigers actually have striped skin and not just striped fur. Did you know that crows can remember certain faces, and if you do anything bad, they will hold a grudge with you? Some cats are actually allergic to humans, would you believe? Did you know that snails can sleep for up to 3 years at a time? There's a lake in Tanzania that turns animals to stone if they go in it. In Sweden, there's a museum that is entirely dedicated to failure. I don't know what to expect if I was going to visit that museum. Did you know that ravens can actually imitate human speech just like a parrot can? Did you know that bananas are radioactive? They contain potassium-40, which is a naturally occurring isotope. Did you know that a wombat actually poops cubes? This is to prevent it from rolling away. Did you know that Cleopatra lived closer to the moon landing than to the construction of the Pyramid of Giza? The pyramid was built around 2560 BC. Cleopatra died in 30 BC, over 2000 years later. Did you know that Napoleon was once attacked by a herd of rabbits? His men arranged a rabbit hunt for fun, but they were all released at once and swarmed him. The Eiffel Tower was actually originally meant to be dismantled. It was built as a temporary installation for the 1889 World Fair of Paris. There was a president named John Adams who actually kept a pet alligator at the White House. It lived in his bathroom and belonged to Marquis de Lafayette. Did you know that Vikings never actually wore helmets? This was a myth that was popularized by 19th century opera costumes. In 1666, the Great Fire of London broke out and destroyed most of the city. But strangely enough, only 6 people were reported to have died. families exchanged gifts and played games together. That's quite wholesome. Did you know that the President Abraham Lincoln was actually a licensed bartender? This was his job before becoming president. He co-owned a saloon in Illinois. The Leaning Tower of Pisa took over 199 years to build, and it started leaning before it was even complete. I'm actually going to see that in just over 2 weeks. In ancient Egypt, the servants were smeared with honey to attract flies away from the pharaoh. Did you know that the Berlin Wall actually came down accidentally? This was because of a confused press announcement in 1989 that led people to storm the border, and guards let them through. Roman concrete is actually much more stronger than modern concrete of today. The Roman concrete self-heals and becomes stronger with seawater over time. This is actually quite a tragic fact, I have to admit. But did you know that the Titanic had actually planned a lifeboat drill for the day it sank, but they cancelled it? Did you know that Albert Einstein was offered to be the president of Israel in 1952? He declined as he lacked experience and temperament for politics. This next fact is actually quite gross. In ancient Rome, they used urine for mouthwash and laundry detergent. I can't imagine their breath and clothes were smelling quite nice. But apparently the urine contains ammonia, and this helps whiten teeth and whiten your clothes. So they might have been onto something, but I still wouldn't recommend trying it. It was believed that George Washington had wooden dentures, but this was not actually true. It was actually far worse than that. They were made from human teeth, ivory, and metal. I would feel quite wrong having another human's teeth in my mouth. Back to the Eiffel Tower. Did you know it was actually meant to be going to Barcelona originally, but Spain rejected the project, and Paris accepted it for the 1889 World Fair. Did you know that before alarm clocks were invented, people hired what was called knocker-uppers to wake them up? These people would tap on their windows with long sticks to wake them up in the morning. I might need to hire one of these for Connor. The Great Wall of China isn't actually a single wall. It's multiple walls built over centuries, and it totals a length of over 13,000 miles. That's a long wall to walk. Did you know that famous painter and artist artist Leonardo da Vinci could write with one hand and draw with the other at the same time. That is impressive if you ask me. Did you know that in the medieval times animals were actually put on trial, such as pigs, rats, even insects could be charged with crimes and sentenced to court? If you ask me, that's a bit far-fetched. Did you know that the medieval torture device, the guillotine, which is used to chop people's heads off, was still being used in 1977 in France? This was when Star Wars: A New Hope came out. That was the last execution. During the 17th century, tulips were worth more than gold. The Dutch tulip mania saw single bulbs selling for as much as a house. If that's what it took to buy a house, bring that back. Did you know that the ancient Olympics were actually performed naked? The word gymnasium comes from the Greek gymnos, meaning naked. I'm quite glad they stopped that. And my last fact for tonight. Did you know that Albert Einstein's brain was stolen? After his death, the doctor who performed his autopsy kept the brain without permission and took it on road trips in a jar. So what random facts would you like me to do next time? Or is there any genres of facts you would like to hear about?